Hey everybody, I'm Alec Hanson, and I'm here in beautiful New York City.
No, you're not.
About to spend the day with mortgage superstar David Rodriguez. We're going to be giving him a marketing makeover.
How about you point the camera to the real talent? I came to California for airline miles. Let's go. Come on.
Let's just roll it.
Look like it's time to rise and get in the game. Gonna change some branding, not afraid to fly. I can't even wait to finally touch down with the camera click. Let's light up that stage. Time to start your brand new golden age. It's your time to shine. Cameras on you. Brand new.
You did it. You flew across the freaking country to come hang out.
I did.
I'm very appreciative. It makes my life a lot easier, so thank you.
No problem.
So we're going to sit down in this first segment. It's called Brand You.
Okay.
And the reason that we center this first, like before we get into filming and before we get into content and writing and scripts and all this stuff, there's a very important exercise we have to go through, which is we have to understand who David is. So let's just start with the first question.
Okay.
How'd you get into mortgage?
By accident. So
That's pretty much everybody's like.
Background, I studied finance. I interned in private banking on Wall Street. My parents are immigrants from Cuba and Colombia. And interned in New York. And my cousin's husband at the time had a mortgage company. And I was going to go package and securitize mortgages for him. And this was 2007.
Awesome.
Great year to enter mortgages.
This is the best. Good. Your
Perfect.
timing's amazing.
Yep.
When you were you packaging mortgages in 2007?
No. So I ended up doing wholesale.
Okay.
Right? So I entered wholesale, and then that went belly up.
Great.
And then finally in 2012, I was like, screw it, I'm going to get licensed.
Yeah. Okay, so fast forward. It sounded a little bit like you fell into the industry like a lot of us do.
Yep.
Realized there was a lot of economic opportunity.
Yep.
A lot of, but that to me is like the shiny object that kind of dulls, because then you're in the grind.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh my God, is this worth it? So what keeps you in the game?
For me, it's about, like, I love personal connection, right? I love talking. Like, the thing about COVID killed with my vibe is I no longer get to see people like I used to. Like, I feed off energy. If there's 20 people in a room, you will see me light up. If there's 2 people in a room, they better bring it. And if they're boring, I'm out, right?
Let's go a little bit of another angle here for a little bit. Clearly, you work with a lot of people that you made relationships with, that you have trust in these partners, et cetera. If I were to poll them, get them in a room, ask them, and they had to answer this question truthfully and honestly, and I said, hey, give me 3 to 5 words to describe David. What are the words you hope they say?
Energetic.
Okay.
I don't know, like a connector.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just over the top.
Extra.
Extra, correct.
What are some words they'd say about you, like how you handle the clients? Like what professionally, what terms would they use? I'm
very detailed. So I have like a 5-step thing that I go through with every client. Yeah. I'm sassy. I will put you in your place.
Anything else?
And I'll just say like loyal. Like I have a lot of loyalty with the people that I work with, and it gets personal.
Yeah.
So like when I have someone calling and they're freaking out, like I will pull them to the side and be like, what's really happening?
Sure. Let's talk about your friends.
Again, extra.
Sure. I'm sure there's crossover because I know how you blend.
I'm big on touching base.
Yep.
And one thing with my friends, I bring people together.
Specifically around bring people together as a starting point, like what do you value about that? Why is that important to you?
I value like energy and relationships and seeing people thrive, and I feel like I get paid in laughter. If I can look around the room and like see these people just like take a break from whatever they're dealing with in their everyday life, we all want to have good people around, right? Like the only reason I came here is because of you. If it would have been some like boring ass interview, I'd be like, I'm out, right? Like, no offense, but
good. What else do you value? What else do you think is important to you?
Obviously family. Like I grew up with a very Latin-based, dramatic family, and I love that. The other thing is, I will say, and the word I keep forgetting to kind of say here, I'm very much, and like when I talked about stepping back for a second and watching the room, I like to provide. So whether it's providing a space for people to feel comfortable, whether it's providing a fun event or something unique, right? I'm a provider, and I take so much joy in that.
Okay, so Dave, we're going to go real big now.
Let's go.
Real big. Picture yourself, end of your career, and whether you're retiring or whether you're just taking a different route or doing something else or legacy stuff. What do you want people to look back and say about you?
I keep going back to like business development. I don't know why, but I want to create something bigger than me. I know I do mortgage for a living, right? But at some point, this will turn into an opportunity to do something bigger. I want people to look back and be like, this crazy person just always wanted bigger than life.
What drives you to want that?
I think there's a lot like writing on the sense of like the way I grew up. If I were to be me 40 years ago, I couldn't be myself. If I just sit back and like coast, like I'm a piece of shit. Yeah. Like I want to be bigger so that the next round and generation of people and they get to take advantage of some of the doors that I'm going to open for them.
Yeah. I'm going to walk you through a model right now. And the intent of taking you through this is to get you thinking about brand positioning. We have to try our best to distill down the things that are important to you into something that can be messageable. Brand Archetypes by Iconic Fox does a good job just helping us start to frame different concepts. So in these, which did you kind of see a piece of yourself in? Just out of curiosity.
A lot of it's the ruler.
Yeah.
For me, the ruler says, like, you've made it. Guess what? This is what I do. I'm going to guide you through it, and you're going to get the best outcome because I know this better than everybody else.
Any other ones stood out to you a little bit?
There's a little bit of the outlaw in the sense of, like, person doesn't feel like they can do it. I'm like, let's fuck it up. You're going to do this. I got you. Come on. The magician, well, we've pulled many rabbits out of our hats. Again, the most complex market in the country. But you're right. It's very much a mix.
Final part of this whole thing. The end goal is how do we really get to the clients and the partners that value us for what we bring,
Yeah.
that we don't have to mask and mirror, that we don't have to, cringe every time they call, and that, can we make, like, that's where we want to go. And the more we focus on that from who you are, the more that attracts those people in.
Agreed. Okay.
All right?
I'm in.
All right. Brand U's done. Next segment.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Phase 2.
Let's do it.
This is our social media audit.
Okay.
But what this really is a brand audit, because the number one place people are going to go to look you up and to get to know you is probably the internet.
Very nervous about this.
It's good. It's going to be great. So we got to start with the best social media platform of all time, which is Google, and we're just going to Google David Rodriguez. This is fantastic because David Rodriguez, apparently there's more than just you in the world named David Rodriguez, which is going to be your cross to bear because this is like a fight for attention, right? And you made this great comment, I want to do big things in life.
I have. I'm a general.
You've died. You've come back.
I lost my hair.
You're a producer, director, and you're now back. You're a doctor, you lawyer, you're an artist. I mean, you're everything. So this is an interesting. So let's add mortgage on the end of this. So you've got some competition to figure out how to own your space, right? Even in the mortgage space alone, let alone just the other space. Yep, here's the other same guy, Florida. So you got Florida, LA, you got some competition. But I did end up finding you, and so let's start looking at you. So let's first just kind of come back here and just go, what's your personal take on social media? Like, how do you feel about it? How does it integrate to your business?
I'm a huge fan of Instagram. And the way I've been using Instagram at the moment is to be in front of my agents. I've been using I'm not against social media. I've been using social media at the moment as like a 1 out of 10. And that's only to connect with my real estate agents through Instagram.
And what's been your content strategy on Instagram so far, as fast as you can?
For Instagram, it's giving information that's clear, easy to understand, and from a lender perspective, that people can ask me questions, like an approachable, like remember I mentioned approachable earlier? I want to be approachable.
What's caused you not to lean into the other platforms or set stuff up there? What's been your mindset?
LinkedIn specifically, like I'm tired of getting recruited, like, whatever. And I'm also, the way that people in our industry use LinkedIn, like the attorneys, the title, the agents, it's so like, it's just bland.
Yeah.
And I have no excitement for it.
Yep.
So.
Anything you think you should be doing in your mind?
I'm going to be vulnerable. Cue the sad music. I have not gotten into TikTok because I feel silly about it. But
Okay.
everybody tells me I need to get on TikTok because they say I can be funny on things. And it would be a way for me to like just get to be a nerd.
Any other things that you think you should be doing?
YouTube, 1000%. I
Yeah.
think about how much I repeat myself over and over again and how I have this like the David way of doing mortgages, right? I notice a lot of clients, especially the younger generation now, they do not want to reach out to you. They only want to Google and research things before you even engage in conversation.
Yep.
The big hesitation there is like, how do I recapture them once they've seen it?
Sure. So the first thing that you should note is, where is your audience? Where's your community? And that's the first question everyone should be asking as they explore understanding where to go spend time in this space, is where's my community? But don't make assumptions. That's the biggest trap. Now, one of the things you said that I want to draw out for everybody, including you, is, you made a comment about, I'll use LinkedIn, being like, I get recruited, I don't like the environment, I don't like the thing. For anybody that complains about a platform, my critique back is, you're complaining about the audience you've created on that platform. What you're watching, who you're surrounded by, who's feeding into you, just like in life, is it's what you're gonna see.
Yeah.
So when we really get into it, what I want you to do is attack these platforms with an open mind.
Okay.
Understand that what those platforms are feeding you, you've cultivated. So clean that shit up.
Yeah. Like there's this one person I follow and they're like always working out in the morning and shit. And I'm just like, like I don't want to see your crowd. Oh, sorry.
Please stop looking at it. I think you're talking about me.
Yep.
So now, from an audit perspective, we have some opportunities here. Tackle the headshot, tackle the banner.
Okay.
Similar to your business page, like this is a good headshot, but it's not you anymore. This is the David from private banking from a while back.
Yeah.
This looks closer to me like the real David. Opportunities are like pinned posts.
Yep.
So and filling out these little bubbles.
Agreed.
And so these are like nitpicky stuff, but on a rounded profile, you'll get to see more about you in an instant than I'm seeing in the first glimpse here.
Yeah.
Another opportunity on Google that I forgot to mention is you need to create a Google business page. So this is the power of content and creating content, is it's going to dominate the front page the more you put yourself into that space. And for everyone listening and for you, every single professional has to have a Google business page, and that's where you should effectively get your reviews.
Okay.
The real work is social media is a two-way street. And if you want to build community, which you're a natural community builder, it's a part of your value set, it's part of who you are, the best way to do it is to get on these platforms and start to actually talk to other people. Make sense?
Love it.
All right, let's get on to the next segment.
Let's go.
Rock on. Bam. We're here. Are we here? We're live. All right. Before we talk about creating content and filming content and all this stuff, a core question that we have to answer is, when are you going to have time for any of this stuff? And in order to get that, this is a session I call Marketing Mayhem, where I want to understand what you do every day to market yourself to drive business. We're going to talk about things that are strategic, meaning they're non-negotiable in your life. And then we'll talk about like origination or marketing activities that are organic, which is when like you think about it and then you do it. We're going to talk about partners.
Yep.
We're going to talk about past clients. And then we'll talk about local, meaning direct to consumer local strategies. And then we'll talk about digital. Okay, partners. What is your strategy to stay in touch, stay in communication, earn all their business, earn more of their business?
I'm kind of using, I'm depending on social just because every transaction right now is requiring much more work than ever, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. So I've fallen out of calling.
Anything else that you do intentionally with the agents in your sphere?
I teach a lot of classes.
You said that before.
So I invite them.
So how often are you teaching a class?
It could be as much as like once every 2 weeks, sometimes once a month.
And this is all real estate centric.
Only real estate agents,
Yep.
yeah.
Great.
So tapas and rosé. What do you want?
Beautiful. 100%. I'm there. Like, this sounds amazing. Okay, let's talk about like prospecting partners.
For prospecting, I reach out to a lot of sales managers, and I talk about, I schedule like, hey, there's an issue coming up. Hey, this is what's going on in the market. And they're like, what? You got to come present this in my office.
How many times are you doing that a month approximately?
At least 2 to 4 times.
The overarching opportunity is to start to push things that are organic into strategic. You mentioned earlier that you do really well with structure, and sometimes you seek structure. One of the things that in any of this path that I think is worth it is setting up personal objectives for what you want to accomplish per month. It's one of those things, like, I call it insecurity hacking, but when you know what drives you, and then you put yourself into a position where it's going to drive you, it's almost like cheating yourself. You're playing yourself. Like, a silly one for me is, I know that if I make a public declaration of an objective and I'm going to achieve XYZ, and then I have to post about it every day to achieve it, I will burn down buildings and nothing stops me. Like, nothing stops me. So here's other things to consider in this whole world, okay? In brand building, the objective is know you, like you, trust you. When you're doing all these things, you have to make sure that all these people are connected on your socials with you, because you're now speaking in front of them, and then you want them to see your face every day. That they're out there. Like, maybe at the end of the presentation, it's like, all right, we're all going to share socials. Let's follow each other. Let's build community together. So record everyone.
Okay.
Get connected to these people on social. Repurpose the content and put it out on social again.
Okay.
Food for thought on this, right?
Okay.
All right, so let's flick to past customers. So let's talk about what your existing strategy is with these people that obviously love you. You took care of them. You helped them. They got friends and family. What do you do?
Right now, I'm not doing a ton.
How much business do you get from your past clients?
Not crazy. I would say during refis, it's a lot. But right now, I'm probably getting like 10, 15% like referrals.
The game here, especially if a guy like you who's very busy and active, is systematizing outreach so that it's hands off, but it's David. So let me give you an example. That'll make more sense. So right now, you could go film 12 videos. And the videos could be, hey, it's your first month since we closed your mortgage, and here's some things to expect. And every time you close a loan, they're going to go out to your customer with a nice message from you. All right, let's go to local. Here's a headspace I want you to kind of start playing with. Okay. We get so focused on our partners, which is great, and we should be focused on our past clients. Smart. On the broadest scope, an opportunity exists at the places you frequent to figure out how to do some creative marketing in those places where you're already going to be all the time. So you got local events. No brainer. Think and Drinks, Pizza Fridays. I think that you should be hosting one every 90 days, and you can invite not just your agents, you can start inviting your community, your customers to them, depending on the appropriateness of it. You can invite the customers in. So play with this stuff. But like, in my opinion, this is a wide open field for you to dominate. Now, this is where we wrap it all up in digital. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to think of the great hook, the great intro, the great video, and the real opportunity is just documenting what's already going on. Just getting the camera more active on sharing those stories, sharing the problems, showcasing the market updates. All of a sudden now, your social strategy has you showing up multiple times a day on a platform, and you didn't have to change your life. All right, you ready to make some content?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Boom. Okay, time to remove all excuses of what to make. Now you're naturally good at making content. I've seen you out there, and so we're gonna drill the strategy down in 2 layers. Number 1, we're gonna talk about what to say, and then 2, we're gonna talk about how to say it. We talked a little bit about that cohort or the ideal avatar that you love to work with, and so let's revisit that again. You said self-educated millennials who realize they still need there's value in an advisor. What do they not know? Like, what are their struggles of that cohort?
So for my market in New York City, sadly, most of these millennials are first-time home buyers.
They are first-time home buyers.
It's just it's a big hurdle
Yeah.
right? And one of the biggest issues in New York is no matter what the banks allow and products that exist, the market will not absorb or allow it.
Okay, so these are major points of conversation. Down payment's a major point.
Correct.
What are the other lesser known points that are still important that these people don't know about?
I like to put things in 5 milestones for a mortgage for New York: credit, income, assets, building approval, and appraisal. So building approval is a huge one, getting a building approved through the bank.
What are we missing on this list? Any nuance?
I also get a lot of first-time home buyers that rent. They have like a cheap rent in the city, so like under $5,000. They don't want to buy a first home in the city. They actually want to buy a cabin upstate or a place out in Long Island or on the beach. So a second home.
And the second home, obviously, if we wanted to make a second category over here, right, is going to have the same stuff, right? Down payment. Yep. I mean, the list goes on, right? Yep. It's the same stuff over here, but we know the guidelines are just a little different. Now let me do one more area over here, and I'm just going to carve it out down here because we save some space. Current events.
Okay.
What's uniquely happening in the market today, even specific to New York or other areas, that you're dealing with?
Properties that are not moving, properties that are going live and getting accepted offers within days.
Yep.
And they're going for well over ask.
The exercise we just went through is something that you obviously know your stuff, like very clearly in just whatever minutes we've spent, like you know your stuff. These are all topics for content, meaning you should have a place where you're storing this stuff. Okay. Because as you're living it, you should be documenting it. So once you have this down, you realize that there really is no shortage of stuff for you ever to talk about. And you're gonna have to talk about this a lot. Frequency has to be super high because of the nature of social media, which is a scrolling environment. So they're not watching all your videos. Boom, clean. We talked about what to say. We have to talk about how to say it. This is where nuance comes in.
Okay.
What I found to be the most effective is we need an intro, which is more or less a hook.
Okay.
Okay. We need a story or an explanation.
Okay.
And then we need the close or the call to action. And so let's just unpack it. The intro or the hook. Give me the solution. Give me the area of concern. Tell me what the hell the punchline is. So if you don't tell me now, I'm gonna get bored and I'm gonna scroll by you.
Yeah.
Then you transition to the story. And the reason I put story first is because people naturally are like, when you say, let me tell you a story, people are like, yeah, what's this? I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like, what's the story? And then the close is just how you land the land the ship. How do you end the video so you're not like, bye? Like, how do you really like,
See ya.
yeah, click. Let's come up with some of these for some of the areas we're talking about and kind of role play through this.
Perfect.
Give me a topic.
First-time homebuyer that is doing an online pre-approval with an online lender that has no experience in New York.
Great. And so what happens to those people? What's the problem? What's the area of concern? Like,
online pre-approvals are not going to get you an accepted offer.
perfect.
Right?
No, that's literally perfect.
Yeah.
Like we're done. And then what's the story?
So I had a client, a first-time homebuyer, self-employed. He got pre-approved through his bank, and that bank said that he could get a loan for purchase up to $700,000.
Excellent.
And putting down 5%.
Perfect.
The agent comes to me and was like, I don't know about this. And I was like,
Yep.
I go, girl, you got some problems.
Yep.
We got some explaining to do.
Yep.
Right?
We want to keep the story. We want to tighten the story up. And then what would be your closer call to action?
And so I would say, so agents, if you see an online pre-approval, do not consider it like as gold.
So one close could be the warning, which is just like, hey, you don't have to call me, but like just take another look. And then a call to action could be, and I'm happy to review anything anytime. So just send it my way. No pressure. No pressure. Not gonna try to mess up your deal, but I'm happy to have your back. But does this format make sense?
Love it.
Good to go?
I'll do more.
Let's make some videos first. All right, bam. And scene. We did it. You did it.
I'm impressed. You are a machine.
Well, so David, like at the end of this, what I like to do is get your honest feedback for people that are trying to do something similar with their strategies. They're trying to learn, they're trying to get better, they want to evolve, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, did you have, I know you've seen some of these before, but did you have much expectation coming into this? What were your thoughts before we started?
I was very nervous coming in because
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a tear you down. This is what you're not doing, right? Which if I've seen, you internally, you're scary.
You're scary. Stop it.
I was like, shit, I don't have the right microphone. But at the end of the day, what I'm realizing right now is I have a real baseline plan in place.
Yeah.
You kept mentioning whiteboard. I was like, I actually do want to have a whiteboard just so I can see it visually.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person that I'm gonna go after it.
Yeah.
And I want to start slow. I'm gonna slowly start all the other platforms and start, kind of divvying up how I do my content. And when I'm shooting for 1 hour, I'm going to start putting, 10 minutes towards LinkedIn, 10 minutes towards YouTube. I'm going to start doing a little bit more categorizing and just have a little bit more intent.
One of my favorite things about you in general is that it's hard for you not to be you. You just come in and the things that you value are how you express and how you live. And the excitement for me is to watch you just continue to expand that reach.
Yeah.
I always fall back on this belief that the more people that get a chance to get to know you, the real you, the more people will come into your ecosystem, will come into your sphere of influence, and the more people you're going to be able to change and hang out with.
Yeah.
And so it's really just a game of unleashing David out into the world.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Be scared.
Be
very scared.
But the best part about it is you're naturally a people person. You naturally value connection. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to take you really far in your life and in your career to do the big things you want to do. So what stood out for you the most in all the stuff we covered today?
When we talked about local, right? That's
Yeah.
something that we're doing, all of us are doing every single
Living
day.
it.
Whether it's a dog walk, whether or whatever, there's something that we do every single day and that we take pride in, right? My golden morning is going to my coffee shop. And the fact that I could actually engage that and have a cute marketing huddle or something with my agents at the same time, and they get to see me without perfectly coiffed hair.
Bro, let's talk about hair.
I just think that is gold to me, and that's gonna make me want to continue. A lot of times we feel like we have to rush to the office and do these things, but now I can actually take the things that I love to do on a daily basis and expand it to be work, or as I like to call it, revenue generating.
Yeah.
And if it's revenue generating, it doesn't matter what the cost is. It means I have freedom to do it.
I want everyone to hear this frame again, so I'm going to repeat it back to you because it is so game changing. Prospecting and marketing, where you're connecting to other people and you're building relationship and you're building community and you're doing things to help their business or your business, or that is money. That translates into business and opportunity.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could say it like that and see it like that should free you up to go attack it more.
Yeah.
And absolutely, the money's not in the office. The money's with the people.
Exactly.
Well said. And I, you know what? I hope to watch you record all this and document all this, because then the buzz will be real. The people will be want to be a part of it. Even when they weren't there, they'll get benefit from that happening because you documented it and showed it, and that they might as well have been there.
Exactly.
So your reach just keeps going.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say thank you because nobody's ever taken a minute to just sit down with me, give me resources, give me one-on-one time, coaching, and I wish everyone here could just see the amount of crew that has been helpful today, and either giving me really good smiles or not so good smiles when I'm filming content.
You.
But I am just indebted. I'm very grateful and thank you. I feel very moved and changed. So I'm just so appreciative. Thank you.
Well, dude, my last piece of encouragement in any of this is this whole thing is a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. And it's adding little pieces into the strategy over time. And that's what creates true separation, right? It's not the one time you go to the gym, it's the 100th time. Right. And so every day that you do the whiteboard and you look at it and you just go, you know what, I'm getting mentally and physically, I can do a little more now. I'll do this newsletter now. Or I got a little more to put in, and then you look back over time, and you're like, wow, this whole trajectory has shifted.
Exactly.
and look at how much more effective you are. So take it just a step at a time.
Perfect.
And just keep putting yourself out there. I don't know how else to say it. The ability to be vulnerable, because being on camera takes vulnerability,
Yes.
and the ability to share openly and really put yourself out there is what's going to lead you to more and more success, dude.
There's a very famous person that goes by the name of RuPaul, and they say, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love someone else? Can I get an amen?
Amen. Amen. We're going to end on RuPaul. Thank you, brother.
So guess what? Agents, tired of the limited inventory in New York, most buildings are gonna require at least 10% down. Let's break into the next tier by asking their parents for a gift. Shoot me a call and I'm gonna give you some better local expertise.
Brand new.